Okay, today we're going to talk about something different. I'm wearing a Talit, which is a Jewish ritual prayer, an article of prayer. This is one of the things that we wear when we pray. And we're going to go to Luke chapter 8, 43 to 48. And this preserves an account that's well known by modern Christians, but not understood in the way that the original audience understood it. As I read it, think about the words. I'm going to use Jesus' Hebrew name. His real name was Yehoshua or Yeshua, which means help. Now a woman having a flow of blood for 12 years, who had spent all her livelihood on physicians and could not be healed by any, came from behind and touched the hem of his garment, and immediately her flow of blood stopped. And Yeshua said, "Who touched me?" When all denied it, Peter and those with him said, "Master, multitudes surround and press against you, and you say, 'Who touched me?'" But Yeshua said, "Somebody touched me, for I perceived power going out from me." Interesting. Now when a woman saw that she was not hidden, she came trembling, and falling down before him, she declared to him in the presence of all the people the reason she had touched him and how she was healed immediately. And he said to her, "Daughter, be of good cheer. Your faith has made you well. Now go in peace." Why did the woman want to touch the hem of Yeshua's garment? Why was her declaration in the presence of all the people so important? In the first century Israel, men wore a simple tunic called a chaluk, and when they were at home or at work, this is what they wore. But when they went out in public, they covered their tunic with a large rectangular garment that draped over their shoulders, which was called a talit. During Yeshua's life, the talit was longer and extended further down the legs than those used today. Attached to each corner, you'll see here, there are 4 tassels called tzitzit. This is from Numbers 15:38. Now remember, folks, what I have told you many times before. The Torah will tell you to do things, but it never tells you how, or how much. These are things that are, created. Can you see these? Okay. These are things that are created to try and fulfill what was written in the Torah. Because as I said, it said, make fringes on your garment. Make tzitzit on your garment. Make fringes. Doesn't tell you, how many, whatever. Speak to the children. Tell them to make tzitzit on the corners of their garments throughout the generations, and to put a blue thread in the tzitzit on the corners. Now, there used to be one blue thread to try and carry out that. And oddly enough, the mollusk that had the ink sac to dye it to make it purple, a royal purple, right? A non-kosher animal, that's become extinct, although I hear that somehow these things are making a comeback and people are dyeing thread again and putting a blue thread in. So how things have changed over time. During the time of Yeshua, there were many beliefs about the expected Messiah, including some about how the Messiah would be recognized and what things would happen at that time. One of those beliefs was about the Messiah and the Talit. Its source was an interpretation of the Torah that linked a phrase in Numbers 15:38 to the Messiah's identity. The tzitzit, the corners, kanaf. The Hebrew word kanaf is also found in another Messianic prophecy. This is Malachi 4, 1 through 3, where it's translated as wings. "For behold, the day is coming, burning like an oven, and all the proud, yes, all who do wickedly, will be stubble. And the day which is coming shall burn them up, says Yahweh of hosts, that will leave them neither root nor branch. But to you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness," that's S-U-N, folks, don't get confused, "shall arise with healing in his wings. And you shall go out and grow fat like stall-fed calves. You shall trample the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day that I do this, says Yahweh, Lord of hosts. The word kanaf would have brought to mind the very familiar words of Psalm 91, 1 through 4, and in the context in which they're used. Listen to this. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to Yahweh, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. Okay? Now let's return to the story of this desperate woman for a moment. She had exhausted every option in her search for a cure. Obviously, she wanted to be healed from the illness to regain her health, but there was also a spiritual reason. She was ritually impure, and just touching another Jew would make that person ritually impure too, meaning that they weren't allowed to give a sacrifice or call to the Torah, any kind of thing like that. Her ability to participate in ritual could also be totally restricted. Right? So her actions and words reveal that she understood the Messianic beliefs linked to the words of Malachi, when she heard that Yeshua was healing people. And folks, don't forget, at that time there were many, many, many Jewish healers. She believed that if Yeshua was the Son of Righteousness, S-U-N, of what Malachi was talking about, then there would be a healing in His wings, in His kanaf. This would mean that she believed the healing power would be specifically in the kanaf of Yeshua's talit. She's reaching for his kanaf to be healed, right? And that was proof of who he was, okay? That's what she's reaching for. This is what she was reaching for. Right? Attached to each corner of his talit was a tzitzit, which consisted of 5 double knots and 8 threads, making a total of 13. The symbolism was very clear. Together they represent 613 commandments of the Torah. All she had to do to find out was touch one of Yeshua's tzitzit. When she stood face to face with him, as a healed woman, and everyone heard the reason she touched his tzitzit, they knew that it proved that he was the Messiah. Modern readers understand the miracle, but not the ancient Messianic expectation that the original audience recognized when they heard it. Thank you. Shalom.